Oh, goodness. Hello, everybody. Looks like I lost someone. There you are, man. Welcome back. Better take yourself off mute, though. Why? I think you're muted. Hey, how you doing, Fred Brown? Fred Brown? Fred Brown? I cannot. Hold on just 1 second. See if I can figure out why. Say, give me something, Rob. Okay, hold on. Okay, try it again.
How's it going, folks? I can say anything I want apparently, and no one will hear me.
Oh, she can hear you, but I cannot. Hold on just a second. Default. It's the new headset. Sorry about that, guys. That's my issue. All right.
Hello?
Yeah, I
Can
got
you hear
you
me?
now.
Awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Glad to hear it. Good to hear. Alright, so we're all up and running. We're working.
We are.
Okay. Sweet. Good old technical issues. Just gotta start the day off with that, right?
Absolutely.
Well, first off, how you guys doing? How's everybody hanging in there? Huh? What are you guys doing?
I am good personally.
Frey Brand, you're gonna catch me slacking. Nah, it's not happening. I know better. You ain't gonna clip that shit and put it on Twitch or not Twitch, Twitter or something like that lately. Nope. Nope. Mm-mm. Apparently Greg is echoing. I do see that you have a new
I
headset
am.
situation going on.
Yes. I have to work this out.
You're gonna have to talk about the headset real quick. Hold on,
Okay.
new tech.
Let's. How about now? Okay, I'm good. I'm not echoing now. Now if I can just hear you.
You can't hear me?
No, I hear you. Yep, we are good.
Oh, okay.
Fantastic. Whew.
Okay, so you got to talk about the little headset thing. Is it over the ear? Is it in the ear? Is it like
It
what's going on
actually
there?
it's the bone vibration. Um,
Oh, I'd seen something about that. Like it goes off of like the little bones in your ear or whatever, and allows you to hear.
yes, yes. It is way
Huh.
I'm liking it. It's way better. They're called shocks. Way better than the over the ear. I just I can't I've hated
Can't
that
sit.
forever, right? Having
Yeah.
those earmuffs on. And then I
I
don't
ain't gonna
really
lie, it
like
does get a
sticking
little
stuff in
hot.
my ears either. Yeah, it does.
Okay, it does get a little warm. All right, how much those set you back?
About $100.
Okay, so not that bad.
Not bad at
Not that
all.
bad price.
And
What's the audio like?
actually, it's I can hear everything that's going on in the room, and I can hear very clearly what our conversation. It's not the same as having the earmuffs where you have that isolated sound,
Yeah, yeah.
but I love them so
But
far.
you're not having any issue like hearing.
Right.
Like okay. Oh, that's all right. That's not bad. Okay. Well, now that we're done with the technical issues and fanboying over Greg's new headset or lack thereof.
Here, I'll show here's all they
Yeah,
are
show them
right
off.
here. This is it.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's pretty cool.
fit right over your ears, like they're not even there.
Comfortable. Like, how do they feel with glasses on? Because that's one of the reasons why I always hated over it, like behind the ear things. Because
These are a lot
glasses.
better with the glasses than the earmuffs are. A lot better.
Okay,
They
okay.
don't
I have
interfere
to.
with each other really. So
I might have to look and get me a pair one of these days. Okay. Anyway, sorry, just having a conversation and fascinating with Greg's new setup there. Um, episode. This is episode 68, right?
yes, it
Okay.
is.
Why did I say 69? I could have sworn I said 69.
I don't know. I don't want to know why you said 69.
So whatever. um, we've been doing this so long, I'm losing count. Um, and like again, we don't have that many episodes. Nice. Frank Brand, I don't think it's 69 just yet, but when it is, yeah. Anyway, guys, welcome back. This is the update log where we talk all things gaming. I'm Rob, your co-host, and this is Greg, my co-host. And yeah, let's get
We're
stuck into
both
it, man.
co-hosts today, huh?
Look, man, I've had a long day. Okay, don't start with me. Don't fucking
Okay.
start with me. All right, I've had a long day. Um, all right. Yeah, it's Monday. It's Monday. It's Wednesday. How's y'all middle of the week going? What are you guys doing? How about you, Greg? Let's start with you.
Fantastic. I think it's a great day. Lots of exciting things coming up, So I don't want to
Very true.
open up too much, but I am really looking forward to a couple of the things that are coming up in the near future from in the games world. The new pirate board content is out there on Kickstarter right now. That looks really awesome. Um, I try to focus on that because the mundane world is the usual place. Everywhere you go, you hear the same
Mhm.
things. So
Yeah, yeah.
don't want to listen to that
And our
anymore.
audience, how you guys doing? Furry Brand, Harper, how you guys doing this fine Wednesday? Brodicious, I see you there hiding, not saying much. We see you. How you guys doing? Drinking, eating tacos, playing Space Marine 2. Yeah, that sounds like a good month. That sounds like a Wednesday. Sounds like a fantastic Wednesday, as a matter of fact. Playing Chef RPG.
Chef RPG. I think I have seen that.
Okay. I have never seen Chef RPG. Sounds interesting, to say the least. Um,
There's
maybe something worth
there's
checking out
mobile
in the
there's
future.
mobile games where you run around a kitchen cooking stuff. I mean,
Those I have seen, yes.
yeah, yeah. I seen a
Mm.
new farming game that was I felt like it was challenging me. It's like the whole theme behind it was if you think it's easy to be a farmer, then you should try this. I don't think it's
Well,
easy to be a farmer, but I mean that's
fun fact, it is not easy to be a farmer. Not at all. Anyone who's ever done any farming or has worked on a farm in any capacity, no matter the size, can tell you that shit's not easy. So kudos to you farmers who are still waking up at the ass
yes.
crack of dawn,
Oh,
uh, putting in that work. So thank you.
cussed out by blue. Oh, yes, your new friend.
New ball, yeah, new bird. But yeah, as Greg mentioned, there's stuff going on in the industry as always. There's always something going on. Um, but a couple of things I'd like to touch on first. Number one, if you haven't heard, Pyroborg is getting a bit of an expansion piece. Pyroborg is a game that was created a couple of years ago by a gentleman by the name of Luke Stratton, who we have had on the update log as a guest speaker and a player, um, playing his own game, playing Pirate Borg. It's coming out of Free League Press, and Pirate Borg is a third-party creation that is compatible with the Morkborg system, but it is being published by Free League Press. It is currently in Kickstarter, so the actual Kickstarter is Pyroborg Down Among the Dead. It went on Kickstarter.
Wow. I don't think this. Rob must be having. Let's see here. Must be having some issues with internet tonight.
Oh, me?
Welcome back. Yeah.
Oh, did it drop
Yeah,
again?
it dropped you again. Yes, it did.
Oh, so I've been just yip yapping to myself then.
It's all right. Did we miss anything?
I was just talking about Pyroborg Down Among the Dead. That's it.
Well, we missed some good
Uh,
stuff then. You should repeat that.
oh, okay. Well, shit. All right. Yeah. So, um, for those of you who don't know or might have um, haven't seen our earlier episodes, but Pirate Borg is a third-party system created by a gentleman by the name of Luke Stratton. Absolutely phenomenal game. It's compatible with Morkborg, published by Free League Press. They've just released their second Kickstarter. Um, Same game. It's an expansion piece. Basically, Pirate Borg Down Among the Dead. Greg, if you could drop the link to that Kickstarter in the chat,
Actually, if
great.
you want the link to the Kickstarter, join our Discord. It is posted in there in general chat. So maybe Rob can stay in his seat a little longer this time. There we go.
Maybe.
So
Maybe.
yeah, like I was saying, Rob, the link to the Kickstarter is actually in our Discord.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
it's under our promoting our community channel. It'll take you right there. So join our
Yeah.
Discord
Go.
and go for it.
Yeah, go ahead and join our Discord. Get the link to that. It's a phenomenal system. If you want a demonstration of Pirate Borg, we actually, if you go back through our videos, we have a sit down where we sat down with Luke Stratton and discussed Pirate Borg, and we actually have a let's play one shot that we did with him of him playing his own game. Absolutely phenomenal guy, great designer. So
He's a
congratulations again, Luke. He's because this one was funded in 2 minutes. Funded in 2 minutes, and it is right now sitting at $402,401. And it's adding quite a good bit of stuff. You get a starter set. You get a GM screen, which as a GM is really nice. You had a Pireboard quick start preview and a couple of other things. Obviously, this is going to be dependent upon the tier list of your backing, but it's really good. I Some of the artwork is, well, all of the artwork is phenomenal. Super simple system to really get involved with and get into. Plus, and here's the kicker: it's fucking pirates. Who doesn't Who doesn't want to play a pirate? And here's the thing, and I shit you not, you can play as a fowl. You can play as a chicken. You can play as a fucking chicken. Come on, who doesn't want to play as? You can also play as a rat too.
Hey, and you're a lucky
For sure.
chicken.
Yeah,
You're a really
exactly. You're
lucky
a lucky
chicken.
chicken. Yeah. Can't do anything else. You might end up somebody's fucking dinner, but you can play as a chicken. Just saying. Just saying. But again, congratulations to Luke again on a another successful Kickstarter. Go check it out, guys. If you want the link, go ahead and check out our Discord. You can also get access to the rest of our community there. Talk with other, the other creators that we've had on, like Oz Mills and Matthias Johansson, Tomas Herenstam, guys from Free League Press, who've put together games like Blade Runner and the Alien RPG, which are both really fun. So that's that piece. Starting off real strong, because I'm excited to play it. Really excited to play it. Chances are we might have Luke back on the stream, maybe to even play that. Who knows? We'll see. So keep your ears out for that. Another pretty big piece, another release, this time coming out of Critical Role. So Critical Role's Daggerheart, which is kind of their take on D&D, has finally a release date. Someone who's been kind of messing around here and there with their kind of their beta test, their quick start guide for the game as is now. It's interesting, but let's kind of get that out there. It is slated to release spring of 2025. So around March, April, May-ish, kind of that area. At least right now, and I could be wrong on this, but at least for right now, I don't believe there's a hard set date, just time frame. Good thing is, if you do want access to their kind of quick start material that they have out now, you can access that. Again, the links for that will be in our Discord as well. But for those of you who haven't heard, yes, Darrington Press, which is the publishing company for, well, I wouldn't say it's for Critical Role, but Critical works with them. They are coming out with their own TTRPG. I think a couple of, actually.
They have a few. They have a few out already.
They have Candela Obscura, and I believe they have one more. But Daggerheart, I believe, it's something that's been in the works for a while. And I have to say, as someone who's messed around with it, read through the rules and whatnot, it's interesting. It's an interesting take on the system. They've really tried to pare down the fantasy kind of TTRPG systems that we've seen.
It's supposed to be a different take on Dungeons and Dragons, and
yes,
that not necessarily labeled quite that way, but it's just a little different world.
It's sword and sorcery fantasy,
right?
Yeah. Have you taken a look at it yet, Greg, or is that? Because I know you were there at Gen Con when they showcased it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, it's again, I've taken a look at it. They have a number of different classes, different races.
I'm really of a wait and see approach with this with that game. It looks interesting, and I kind of want to see. I kind of want to see where it goes. There's a couple good things on that. Well, maybe good things. I don't know. They're not doing crowdfunding with it. They're going straight to print. They're early release, so you can actually. I think that opens up this week, or maybe even today, where you can pre-order the books. They're not doing it on Kickstarter or any type of crowdfunding or anything like that. They're going straight to publishing, and it's supposed to release early 2025.
Yeah. spring of 2025. Currently, there are two pre-order, or I guess early access. Pre-order is probably better. Versions that you can get. One is, I believe, $59.99, which gets you just the base set. There's another one that's $159.99, 140. Let me double check. $149.99. So I believe, yeah, it's $49.99 and $149.99. No, $59.99 and $149.99. Excuse me, got my numbers confused there. Again, the $59.99 version will get you kind of the base box set, everything that comes with it. Well, the $149.99 version will come with the base set, but altered. They've said that with the base set, they are, or rather with this kind of exclusive set, they're doing custom art and what have you that is never going to be reprinted again. So if you want to get your hands on that, now's the time to do it. So, and again, the system looks really interesting. It is very much a pared down version of, I feel, what we would normally kind of expect from the sword and sorcery kind of high fantasy style games. Their own system, which I don't know the name of yet. Pretty sure it has a name, just can't remember it. But it's pretty fun. It's pretty good. So there's that. What else? Well, in keeping with kind of what I'm rolling on here, the 17th, so yesterday, D&D 2024 Player's Handbook is officially released. Officially out on the market. Granted, people have been talking about it for quite some time, us included, but it is now out there on the shelves, or off of D&D Beyond, if or Roll20, if that's your thing, already out there and ready to go. As folks who have, because myself and Greg have taken a look at the 2024 edition of the Player's Handbook, it's introduced a couple of cool things. Namely, for me, and this is something that I'm really, really excited about, is the weapon mastery system, which basically adds effects for different types of weapons that you're using. For those of you who've played Baldur's Gate 3, kind of like that, which I think is really cool. Which honestly, I can't say for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's where they got the inspiration from. Was Baldur's Gate 3. So kudos to them. What do you think, Greg? Is there anything in the new PHP that you're kind of looking forward to? Maybe testing out?
Nope.
Looking at nothing.
Not if well. I can't say I can't say definitively no. And I mean, there's definitely some changes in there. One piece is some of the updates around the crafting system, which are not extremely expansive by any means, but I mean, definitely something to talk about. And there's a lot more possible discussion in that area when it comes to TTRPG crafting systems, because let's face it, they suck.
They're almost non-existent, or they're like you said, they're not the best. They're not really good at all.
But outside of that, I am I'm gonna stick with I'm gonna stick with 5e for now. I mean, I'm a late adopter on most of this stuff. I really want to see what it looks like, how what's the reaction to it. Obviously, there's a whole new generation of players that are gonna be introduced through this new game versus 5e or any of the previous versions. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that one, Greg. I again, like Greg, I'm going to stick to what I know and kind of what I've been enjoying, which is the 2014 edition of 5th edition, which I played. I actually started playing it right when it came out. Right when it came out around 2015, so about a year after. I remember I started with the Adventure League. Really, really fun. It was this local place back in New York, local little game shop, and it was an interesting night, gotta say. Um, I think I played my tried and true character class of Warlock, one of my favorites. Warlock and I think Wizard, and well, three: Warlock, Wizard, and Rogue are my three favorite classes. Rogue for obvious reasons, you get to stab people in the face, and then Wizards and Warlocks because Wizards are just busted, and Warlocks are interesting. They bring a lot of interesting stuff to the table. For me anyway. So yeah, so the 2024 edition of the Player's Handbook is now officially out. As Greg mentioned, they did a couple things differently. The how do I put this? The crafting system they've kind of expanded on. They pared down a little bit of the wording. That was a little bit of an issue. No, not necessarily an issue. Just more words than was necessary with the 2014 edition. So that's good. But they didn't really add more to the crafting system, which I hope they would have. That's not to say there aren't actually resources out there for a crafting system. Namely, Coldwell Press has put out a couple of things, and there is another piece, Ryoko's Guide to the Yokai Realms, that was in Kickstarter last year, I believe, or this past no, it was this past year. Never mind, it was early this year. That was in Kickstarter. That add expanded pieces to crafting, namely in the form of like monster hunts.
There's a huge amount of material from
Mm.
third party providers that has been created around 5e. So I
Yes.
mean,
Oh yeah, yeah. Tons of.
drive throughs.
You've got options, guys.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and 5e did very well for Dungeons and Dragons to the point where there's a lot of other games that actually have a 5e adapted version. So you can use
Yes.
the you use the mechanics and things of Dungeons and Dragons 5e, um,
Mm.
and play in an entirely different universe. So
Yep. Yep. Which is good. Because while there are, and this is also a good thing with an industry, while there are a lot of, there's a lot of players who either were introduced via D&D, some of the early editions, or came in, at fifth edition. It has a large following. So for that the fact that there's other either third party supplements that you can use with the official content, or there are other publishers, namely Freely Press being one of them, producing content that's compatible with 5e. That I think that bridges the gap between wanting to try something different but not really wanting to learn a new game system, which can be a pain in the ass. That can definitely be a pain in the ass sometimes. Stepping into new systems, as myself and Greg definitely know, because we've had to do that quite a few times um, over this last year, especially. And Freybrand says Paladin and Sorcerer. Okay, Freybrand, why do you like the Paladin and Sorcerer so much? Oh, I know personally why you like the Paladin so much. What about Sorcerer?
yeah, those two. There's so many class options. That's one of the
Oh yeah.
big, outside of the fact that D&D's just been around forever. There's so many class options that you can pick from, and then the subclasses piece, things like sorcerer, that really just help build some depth into that game. The world itself. Personally, I lean toward more towards classless systems, but
uh, Freybrand says manipulating spells because my dad banged a dragon is great. Yeah, for those for those of
how
you
do
who
you
don't
how do you
know,
know it wasn't your mom?
I was gonna say it could be your mom, but that's a rabbit hole we probably don't want to go down. For but yes, yes. For those of you who know, sorcerers, their magic is in the blood. It's innate. Uh, Somewhere along the line, someone in their lineage decided to do the dirty with someone of a magical being, whether it be a dragon, a fairy, angel, so in some cases, or devil. in some cases.
There's a movie out on Netflix right now. I forget what the name of it is, but it's a story about that, about a essentially a princess that was kidnapped by a dragon, and then the dragon um, polymorphs itself into a human shape to interact with her, but doesn't tell her that, the human doesn't tell her that, he is
It's a really
actually the dragon, right?
Huh.
And she ends up
That's
falling
funny.
in love with this dude, and then eventually figures out that, okay, yeah, you're the evil dragon that's holding me captive. But
But I love you.
yeah,
But you kidnapped me.
yeah, what a story.
Yeah. Interesting story. One we've seen before. uh, but that said, yeah. So again, D&D is again still producing stuff, still coming out with things. I highly recommend you guys go check it out if you're interested. Also, highly recommend you check out the third party content being put out there by folks. Really, really awesome studios out there putting out some stuff. Ghostfire Gaming, I think, is their the studio's official name. You got them. You got Cobalt Press.
Yep.
Tons of places out there. Free League Publishing. Um, Definitely check out that material. But I have a question for you, Greg, and I have a question for the audience.
Hmm.
Uh, do you remember the first game you played? Like the first game that really stuck with you?
Well, the first tabletop game I ever played was actually basic Dungeons and Dragons, the box set. That's the first one I
Huh?
ever played. Yep.
Huh.
Yep. And then the second role playing game I ever played is a Steve Jackson game called Car Wars. Um, yeah, that
You've talked about that.
I am, I don't have a copy of that. I have to get a copy of that game. Um,
Okay.
and do something with that, because Car Wars is actually quite unique. But anyway, yeah. So that's me. Very first thing I ever played for TTRPGs was Dungeons and Dragons, and that actually was a really good friend of mine and I in study hall in school. So we actually, instead of studying, we were playing role playing games.
Playing role playing games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Question. Okay. What was the first video game you've played? And so Frey Brand says Doom on his uncle's computer. I'm gonna circle back with you, Frey, because that's an iconic game. Iconic. I think it was what 90. I want to say like 90s, between 93 and 97.
The very first video game I ever played was
It was
probably
93.
probably an arcade game named called Tron.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I remember the movie. Never played the game. I remember the movie. It was with Kurt Russell. I can't remember who else was in that movie, but I know Kurt Russell was in it.
Yeah, it's an old one.
Yeah, it's
But yeah, that's probably
like
the
mid
first.
'80s, I want to say.
That's probably the first video game. It was arcade, the big arcade games, but that's probably the first video game I ever played. And then when it comes to like at home consoles, way before, well, they, the earlier one was an Odyssey system, and
Mm,
I had two games with that system. One of them was like a version of Pong, um, and one of those completely mind melting things where you're just bouncing the little ball around. Unbelievable how many
mm,
hours you can sit there and bounce the little ball around. Um,
no.
and then I had another one that was, I think it was called like Sword and Ring or something like that. Um, to this day, I do not understand that game. I remember playing that game and not understanding the game, and I still don't understand that game. It was supposed to be like
Interesting.
a gauntlet style thing, and the graphics were
Mhm.
horrible, so it really just didn't play well.
Damn, Gauntlet. That's a classic. I remember the I want to say the original Gauntlet was on NES, right?
Maybe, maybe.
Maybe because I
I
remember playing it. Is he? Was it? Oh, was it on Sega? Gauntlet Dark Legacy was made 2000.
then it wasn't. That wasn't the original one. Then
No, 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 no. The
see,
original
I
85.
I was gonna say I started playing
1985?
video games
Atari.
as I started playing video games when very few people had like actual video game machines and personal
Mm,
computers weren't a thing. It's if you're
yeah,
gonna play something at home as it was a board game, um,
Greg is old.
or not that old, but still,
Yeah. So for me, I guess to answer my own question, Final Fantasy. Those are the Final Fantasy series were the games that I started out with. I did play the original Final Fantasy. Was yeah, obviously it came out before I was born. It came out in '87, but I got it on the NES or Nintendo Entertainment System, along with Mario, along with Zelda. Um, but that was the original one. I think it was like four different classes. It was like fighter, red mage. I think white mage was in it, or rogue. It was only like four classes in that one. Legends of Dragoon, that was another one. Yeah, I remember that. I was a little later though. I think I was like early teenage years. But my definitely favorite ones, and one of my favorite ones was '97. So I was a couple years old. I was it's 88, '97. I was nine, nine. Yeah, I was nine. Um, was Final Fantasy Tactics. I got that for PlayStation, the original PlayStation.
I, I
Fan
I have
fucking
that on my Steam
tastic.
account.
The original Final Fantasy
Yeah, or no,
Tactics.
no, no, the Fallout Tactics. Sorry, not the Final Fantasy
Fallout
Tactics.
Tactics.
Yeah.
I never played the original Fallout. Um, I think I have
Oh,
it though. I've downloaded it somewhere on one either Steam or something else. I have it, and I'm probably gonna play it at some point. But
make
yeah,
sure that you
yeah.
find New
Final
Vegas.
in like you can actually find New Vegas in the game.
Hmm. Yep.
Huh.
And
I wonder how
when
that
the guy
translates
asks
to.
when the guy asks you, tell him you want to be a fluffer.
Nah, no, I'm good. I'm good. I know. I unfortunately I know what they do. I know what that job entails. I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I've been on the internet too long and I've looked up too many things. I know what that is.
I
I
did
don't
not know
recommend you
what that
guys.
was the first time I played. I that's the very first Fallout I played. I had no clue. So and I don't think I told him I wanted to be a. But I went to that place. I forget what it's called, but it's
Mm,
it's like a casino house of ill repute thing, and went through that
yeah.
whole scene without. It's the first time I ever played a video game that went that far with with that type of storyline. Like,
Well, sometimes it be
whoa,
like that.
okay.
Yeah, yeah. That is definitely an interesting one, and for those of you who don't know, Timothy Kane is one of the original creators of that. Um, Cross fingers he'll end up on the update log at some point. I'll probably ask him, what was up with that? Who wrote that dialogue? Interesting dialogue, but yeah, I mean, no, it's one of those games that was definitely genre defining. Same thing with Final Fantasy. Same thing with, ironically enough, Legends of Zelda: Ocarina of Time. There's actually a game that came out recently, the Plucky Squire, which is a created by let's see, All Possible Futures, which is kind of a blend of 2D and 3D, but it's a platformer that is basically an homage and a love letter to The Legends of Zelda, which for those of you who don't know, that by itself was a genre-defining game. Came out, so I believe the first one was for the NES. So I
Hmm.
remember playing that one, and then the one for Super Nintendo after that. Uh, it introduced us to characters like Link, Ganondorf, Hyrule, the gems,
I think Legend.
Nivi, I believe her name was Nivia. Can't remember exactly what her name was, but the damn fairy. I kept saying, what was it? Hello? I hated that shit after a while. It got fucking annoying. Hello, 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 every 5 fucking minutes.
The first Nintendo I ever had was because they packaged Legend of Zelda with the Nintendo game console. So that was the
Hmm.
only game I had when I got
Oh
my
yeah,
very first Nintendo. Yeah, was Legends of Zelda. So that's what I played like every day.
it was a good game. Back in the days,
they
those
also they also create
graphics were great.
and they also created one of the very first flight simulators at that time, because one of the top of the box, basically Top Gun, the original Top Gun movie had came out at that time, and,
Oh yeah,
NES
yeah.
made a video game called Top Gun. So can you imagine trying to land a plane on an aircraft carrier with that little two buttons and a little four position, you know, it was, yeah, it was hard.
I shit, yeah. I know. I didn't know that they actually had a. I don't think flight simulators were my thing back in the day because I preferred. I remember Prince of Persia. I remember
Yeah,
playing that. I remember playing the original Shinobi.
yeah.
Again, those are 2D kind of side scroller games. Um, so I remember those,
Well,
but I don't remember.
calling that game a flight simulator is probably going a little too far, but I mean, it
I mean, when you're
definitely,
comparing it to modern flight simulators,
right.
probably not. Probably not. So so yeah, so that I mean, you'd be surprised, and I think we've talked about it on previous episodes of the podcast, where it seems that games are really, or rather, gamers are really. I don't want to say they're not playing the new stuff, but I feel like folks are very much. I think it's a mix of maybe set in your ways, but also we there's a nostalgia piece to playing these older games. Things like Dota and Dota 2, and kind of the older games. I mean, there's the folks that are still playing Legends of Zelda, Ocarina of
Hmm.
Time. There's still folks who are playing the old school Final Fantasy games.
The Elder
Still in
Scrolls.
2024, the Elder Scrolls. Yeah, there's folks that go out there and play Morrowind. That game came out in shit the 90s.
Yeah.
Late 90s, early 2000s, if memory serves. Um, and they're still going out there playing. Um, which is good because you'd be surprised at how many of, I guess, I don't want to sound like I'm old or anything, but the newer generation, never experienced that. Never experienced playing Mario Brothers for the first time. Never experienced playing Legends of Zelda for the first
Pac-Man.
time. Pac-Man, Gauntlet,
Frogger.
those original
Yeah.
games. Yeah, God, Frogger, yeah. Even though again, I didn't play those when they came out, but I remember going to arcades and playing those games on the arcade, just like I'm sure
Right.
you did back in the day, Greg. And playing those kind of games.
Yeah, we used to go to a little pizza place when I was just a kid. My mom and my stepdad would take me and my brother out to this little pizza place, and they had like a mini arcade in there, and there were two set down table arcade games. So you literally sat down and looked at the table because the screen was in the table. And the two games, one of them was Pac-Man, and the other one was some sort of crash up derby thing where you had a derby car, and the object was to take out all the other cars, and then you'd go to the next level type of deal. um
yeah,
I remember playing. I remember sitting there playing those games. I don't. There's nothing beyond that that really sticks in my head. But yeah.
Would you? My next question to you, and I'll get to the reason why I'm asking this question in a moment. But are there any games that you've played, Greg, that over your time, whether it's you know tabletop, whether it's video games, that have inspired you in a creative way, whether it inspired to create your own, writing, inspired to create games, I know the answer to that question, but I think I want you to let the audience know. Like, if there are any, what games have kind of given you that inspiration to really create in whatever fashion? Um,
Well, I think that's a terrific question for the audience as well. I mean,
yeah, I mean that's
um,
obviously that is a question to you guys in the audience. If there are games out there that you've played over the years that have inspired you in some way, shape, or form, whether it's to write your own stories, create your own games, or any such thing. Like, and that's the thing, that I guess that I'm hinting at is, a lot of these games that we've played over the years. At least I know I can speak for. I can only speak for myself, but maybe I can speak in part for you guys too. But I know that I've played a couple of games that have really inspired me to do things that I don't feel I would have normally done. But again, go ahead, Greg.
well, I think in the TTRPG in that realm, the storytelling
Mm,
realm,
yeah.
definitely. Obviously Dungeons and Dragons, but I mean, Cyberpunk was a huge influence for me. I enjoy the fantasy settings a great deal, but I also that futuristic sort of sci-fi, yeah, has always kind of been right up my alley too. I mean,
Mm.
I enjoy television programs like Stargate and
Oh,
Farscape and
wow.
stuff like
Wow,
that.
Stargate, that's a throwback. Did you watch the original movie
I
with Kurt
did.
Russell
I did.
and what was it James? No, David Spader. Was it
Yeah.
James? David Spader.
David Spader.
Because I remember it's David, right? Not James. I don't know. I was thinking James. It's James, not David. Damn it. Damn it. Yeah, James Todd Spader. Um, yeah, him and Kurt Russell were in the original Stargate movie, and then it progressed to Stargate SG-1 with Richard Dean Anderson, Amanda Tapping, um, Christopher Judge, and what was his name? It was Michael something. I can't believe I forgot his name because Daniel Jackson was my favorite character.
Shank. Is that his
Michael
last name?
Shanks. There we go. Damn it. Yeah, he was my favorite character, or one of them because he was a nerd, and he was like into history and stuff like that. So yeah, but so yeah, so what about you, Fred Brand? Are there any games out there that you can say or point to that have inspired you in some way, in a creative fashion, and have maybe like have made you stop and think like, okay, damn, okay, I wasn't expecting that from this game, and I'll kind of reply to that in a moment because they're actually a couple. Um, they're actually a couple for me.
Okay. Go ahead and reply to
Let's
that.
see.
Reply
All
to
right.
your own
Well,
question. Um,
while you're typing that out, Frey, I'm gonna actually say my piece. So for me, D&D, yes, definitely. That's obviously always that's always going to be a one. I think that anyone who's ever played D&D, I think in some way, shape, or form, most people can call back to D&D as being an inspiration for something. But D&D was definitely an inspiration for me to step into creative uh, pursuits. I've never saw myself as really much of a creative person because I always thought you had to be artistic or what have you, to be a writer or whatnot. And as I grew up and matured and realized, well, people aren't born more or less. People aren't born, coming out the womb writing super awesome stories or drawing, uh, uh, you know, world genre defining art. It's practice and and trial and error and stuff like that. And it's just having the courage to really kind of step into that and try it. And playing D&D and creating my own characters and creating the stories for them and the reason why they're doing the things that they're doing in the campaign was definitely one of the big things for me in terms of stepping into this and becoming a game developer and designer. RuneScape, definitely good game. So Frey Brand says Guild Wars, the Guild Wars universe, StarCraft, Warcraft 3, Warhammer 40K, all good and amazing IPs, all of which I'm familiar with. Frey Brand and I are huge Warhammer 40K fans. And RuneScape, yeah, RuneScape was definitely one of the. If I had to say, RuneScape was one of those games where it felt like someone took D&D and slapped some pixels on it, uh, because that's how it felt at the time. Especially because even till this day, especially the old school RuneScape community, is very player driven. The players really drive the bus, so to speak. So for any of you old school RuneScape players out there, kudos to you. Yeah, very much so. The game is still very much alive and well. That game was made back in the '90s. Um, so it's going strong, boy. Um, Warhammer 40K has been around for almost as long as D&D, actually. I think about the same, maybe no, maybe a little younger, but
Yeah,
not by
RuneScape
much.
is.
Like it's 40 years, 40 years old for Warhammer 40K, um, if not a little older than that. But yeah, no shit. Okay, it's really good that games like this here, uh, the Plucky Squire, are kind of doing those callbacks to the old school games, because we as I guess modern day gamers and modern day enjoyers of this form of entertainment, we owe a lot to those individuals who kind of took up that creative mantle and decided to put those games out there. Everything from Pac-Man all the way to what we have now. You know what I mean? Like we wouldn't have what we have now without Pac-Man and Frogger and Zelda and Mario Brothers. We wouldn't have these games that we have now. I don't think, um, without that. So kudos to all you guys out there who've put that together. Thank you. Um, huh. Now maybe well, I guess we've had some good news. No, not necessarily some bad news, but news, I should say. So looking kind of taking a bit of a turn and coming back to the present day. Those of you who know, the industry has been struggling a little bit. Now we're coming to the end of 2024, and um, it's still the industry has still kind of been taking a couple hits, namely Activision Blizzard did have a couple of layoffs that were unfortunately in the works even before the acquisition by Microsoft. But another, from the numbers that we're seeing, it's about 2,500 total. I'm pretty sure that's over the course of the year gonna have been let go. Good thing is the recent round of layoffs from the reports are not from the gaming division, so not from you know from the World of Warcraft team or the the Diablo 4 teams or any of those. It's again from what I'm seeing, it's mostly support personnel, um, probably some customer facing stuff, and yeah, I mean it is rough, it is hard to see, but the games that we know and love are still being made, are still being worked on. And I wish those folks who have been laid off um, find work elsewhere. Hopefully, back in the industry. We the good thing, and that's one of the big silver linings of the gaming industry is that it is very much a community that's very much locked in and how do I put this? Integrated with each other. Again, whether it's video games or TTRPGs or what have you, there's a lot of cross sections there, and typically the community will help folks land on their feet as quickly as is possible. So for those of you who are listening who have the ability to facilitate this, definitely help those folks find a new home, because the industry shouldn't lose the talent. Um, I don't know whatever you want to say on that, Greg. It's always unfortunate to see, but like anything, like any industry, sometimes it happens.
That it does. And it's par for the course at this point. We've been watching things happen for quite some time, and you can talk all day about those things.
Yeah, yeah. It's something we're not going to do, but
Well,
yeah.
well, and that's I. Here's the thing. Definitely care deeply about that and about
Totally.
the people that are affected. Um,
Mhm.
it's something that can very easily draw you in and absorb your thoughts, your intellectual stance and approach to a lot of different
Mhm.
things. Um, and I just don't want to go there. We're about games. We're about content creation, developing new things. I feel very badly for those folks that have been affected. There's a lot of reasoning behind it. There's a lot of things going on that are way above you and I or the audience that's
Yeah,
out here. Um, and yeah, it's I
yeah,
would much
absolutely.
rather just focus on what
The
what are we
positives.
actually. Well, and it's not about positive and negative either. It's just, I mean, what are we actually
uh,
here for? That's the important piece.
mm,
And we're here to talk about content. We're here to talk about story and the creative piece that's going on and what's out there, what's available. So yeah, that's my 25 cents.
hey, man, I appreciate it because you're not wrong. Yeah, we're here to talk about these things, and then they do deserve to be talked about. But again, like any industry, it has its ups and its downs and its struggles. And unless you're sitting at that table, you're the one in the driver's seat there. You know, we're only hearing certain parts of the conversation. But again, I wish all those folks well. I wish them the best going forward, and a speedy rehire with a new team. Um, where they can again take their hard earned and hard won talent and again put it to use for a new series of games or new singular IP. Um, but moving on, speaking of new IP, there is, for those of you who are Robert E. Howard and Conan fans, there is a new Conan RPG in the works, developed being developed, excuse me, by Monolith Board Games. It is
Releases next
a
month.
few, yeah, yeah. Got to watch a couple of sit downs with the uh, the rules development director Matt John, from Monolith Board Games, discussing the new Conan role playing game called Conan: The Hyborian Age. Which is ironic that that happened because I shit you not, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I was sitting here doing some work and just kind of having to think. And somewhere in the back of my head, like I was thinking about movies that I haven't watched in a while. Things like Willow and kind of those sword and sorcery movies. And one of the ones that came to mind was Conan with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Conan,
Not the Jason Momoa version.
no, not the Jason movie. And again, I've seen all of them. I've seen that one too, and I thought it was all right. It's just it. How do I put this and not sound mean? It just didn't have the.
Well,
It was missing
it
something.
wasn't Jason Momoa. Well, let's just put it that way. That's I
No, no,
mean,
no. He nailed the role. Like he can pull off a Sumerian barbarian very well.
I think
He did that fantastic. It was something about the rest of it. It didn't have something missing. There's something missing from that the first two.
I think something
Uh,
means quite a lot. It was quite a lot missing.
yeah, I mean, Arnold, Arnold was probably one of them. But then, yeah, that was just didn't have that feel to it that that the originals had. I mean, also, James Earl Jones, Tulsa Doom. By the way, rest in peace, James Earl Jones. He did pass away over the last few days. Our hats go off and our prayers go out to his surviving family. He was to say the man was an icon is to grossly understate his impact on both the film but just the entertainment industry. I mean, he voiced Darth Vader, for Christ's sake, one of the most iconic villains in all of fiction. He played Thulsa Doom in um in the original Conan and a series of other roles throughout his storied career. Uh, yeah, I think that's why I was thinking about it because I just heard of his passing and I was like, what happened? I watched that he's been in quite a while, and obviously Conan popped up. I might go watch that sometime in the next couple of days when I have the time. But yeah, Conan RPG. Let's talk about it. Greg, are you excited for? Are you a Conan fan, Greg?
Yeah, that's I was
Okay.
going to say earlier with you. You asked me some of the games that influenced me
Hmm.
in a creative area,
Yeah.
and one of them was a play by mail game called Hyperborea, which is based in, I mean, that's the world of Conan, Hyperborea, um,
Yeah.
where you got to play like a small kingdom in that world. It was all play by mail. So
Yeah.
I'm sure somebody out there knows what I'm talking about when I say play by mail, but but
I do not. I wasn't around when that happened, but I do know of several systems, chainmail being one of them, that were mail to order kind of systems that you
well, you
got in the
literally,
mail and
right, you literally got a package in the mail that you would, go through and read the story based on the last turns that all the players on your map took. And they would put it into a story format so you could read through that and see, okay, what happened based on, what happened to me based on what I did, yada, yada, yada. And then there was a set of forms that you would fill out for what your next moves were, and then you would send it back. Um, and yeah, play by mail.
so I have a question for you, Greg, because this is not the first time that you have mentioned like oh we've talked about the pay by mail kind of
Right.
order the USPS and you can get your game. Did they like back in the day have like how do I put this? They have commercials for these fucking games? Like, how did you hear about them back in the day?
Well, I mean, if you they a lot of them were advertised in TSR magazines like Dungeon
Yeah,
Magazine,
yeah, yeah.
Dragon Magazine. That's where I had found out about it. I forget. I think it was also in the back of a Rolaids product. There was an ad for it. Um, and not the whatever, not the stomach stuff Rolaids. It was a publishing group that created a basically a group of booking books that were called Rolaids, and they were basically all supplemental product for Dungeons and Dragons and other TSR products like Gamma World and things like that.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, so I'm pretty sure that's where I found it. It was either in like on a back cover of a Rolaids book where part of the publishing piece was to have an ad back there, or it was in like a Dragon magazine or something like that.
Hmm.
And I'm
I mean,
pretty sure they
I
had a
remember.
presence at
God,
like the first Gen Cons. I think they had a presence there as well.
probably. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Again, mentioning TSR. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Gary Gygax and all and folks from his day and age, they were they were the pioneers of Gen Con and stuff like that, which was held in Greg's backyard.
Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
Yeah, yeah, almost literally. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, so it's yeah. Those it's interesting because I do remember something similar when I started, kind of playing games and video games of, PC Gamer back in the day, and those magazines that we would get, when GameStop was still as big as it was, and Blockbuster, for those of you who have never been in a Blockbuster, and all that just stuff, you had to subscribe and all that jazz. Um, interesting, because I always wondered, like, how do you hear about those things? Because now, I mean, we got the internet, we got forums, we got TikTok, we got
In-
Instagram,
Information
the
overload. Absolutely.
yeah, you got so many different options to get access to these different products. Is like, you know, like I can't, like I sit here and I'm like, I can't vividly remember a time where I didn't have access to find these things because we just have all the
I
access now. So
I didn't know anything. I didn't know anything at all about Dungeons and Dragons tabletop RPGs. I knew nothing until a friend of mine introduced me to basic D, literally in study hall in like junior high.
mm.
And you know him, Jeremy Hart. He's the one that
Oh
introduced
yeah,
me to it because
that was
he
it.
yeah, I think he got it as a present or something. I didn't know I didn't know what I had seen. I had seen it before that, but I was like 5, 6 years old, and
Uh,
my older sister would go and play Dungeons and Dragons with my cousins. They were all mid early 20s, early 30s, and they would all get together and play Dungeons and Dragons. I was too young; they wouldn't let me play. So I was
poor
always
Greg.
really I was always really interested in it, but I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
I'm like 6 years old. I mean, they're throwing dice and
yeah,
laughing, and that's like, hey, I want to throw some dice and laugh too. I mean, you know,
yeah. They're probably drinking and all that,
Even Garris.
and doing
Yeah, they
what
would absolutely. I mean, you gotta have some good beverages and Doritos and pizza and all the good stuff when you're gaming. That's I mean, for me as a teenager, I mean, when it came to, okay, it's we're gonna get together and we're gonna game this weekend, that was like automatically meaning who's bringing the Mountain Dew and the Doritos. I mean, that's
yeah.
that prerequisites. They had to have those things. If you didn't bring any
Welcome in, old man
the
Garrus.
stuff.
Apologies, Greg. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Like you bring the Mountain Dew, you bring the Doritos, you bring all the chips. Like who's doing what? Welcome in, old man Garrus. We're just talking about some recent releases that are coming out now. As a matter of fact, you walk in on us discussing the new Conan TTRPG that's being put out by Monolith Board Games. I know that Modifius did a couple things with the Conan IP back in the day, but from what I've gathered, they didn't renew their licensing with it. So I guess Monolith has picked it up and is coming out with their own take on it called the Hyborian Age, I believe, if memory serves. Where is that? Yeah, the Hyborian Age. Um, so, old man Garrus, thank you for coming in. Thanks for joining us, man. I have a question for you. Um, and this is something I've already asked the audience. I asked Greg. What games did you remember that you've played? And it can be video games, it can be TTRPGs, it can be anything in between that have had the most impact and
Hey, Duelist,
influence on you.
welcome in.
Hey, Duelist, what's up, buddy? Um, same question to you, Duelist. If you need me to repeat myself, I will. But what games have you played throughout your life, whether it's video games, whether it's TTRPGs, that you guys have played that have been influential on you in some way, whether it's influenced you to pursue creative endeavors or other aspects of life. Um, unfortunately, we've already said our piece on that. But yeah, so what? I know you guys have some stories. I know. And by the way, if you guys want that,
Couldn't remember if you were a streamer
that
or not, Duelist. Sorry about that.
it might be, maybe.
Doesn't look like it. Would you like me to start answering that question again, or
Yeah, please.
I'll
Go
give
ahead.
you one more opportunity to cut me off. How about that?
No, go ahead.
No, it's good. There's so many. How do you pick? And I was looking at that. I seen Freybrand's answer to that with the
Mm,
video games that have inspired him, and obviously Warhammer. I mean, because he is the
he's a
Warhammer
huge
guy,
Warhammer.
right?
Yeah, he's huge.
Um,
He and I are both very, very big Warhammer fans in our friends group.
Right.
Um,
40K is fantastic. I played, as a tabletop piece, the actual role playing side of that I played first before I did anything with miniatures. But another one is the Warhammer Fantasy RPG, and probably the first one I ever played was Rogue Trader, and I
oh,
I
I remember that one.
I really liked that system. So
Yeah, there've been a couple people have picked up Rogue Trader, the TTRPG, over the years. Death to the Fall. Oh, we've got a heretic in the chat. Ah, no, dudes, you got to go. We'll not be tolerating that heresy up in here. Nah, where's
hey
my nemesis
hey,
hammer?
New
Nah.
New New Vegas was all right, man. It was.
um. All right, Jules. I have to ask. I have to ask, since you are obviously a traitor. You're chaos. You're on the side of chaos. What chapter? Which legion are we gonna have to purge? Um, but Old Man Gare says Death Guard. Ah, Death Guard. Mm, shame. Oh yeah. Death Guard. Yeah, the
Ma-
smelly boys.
Magnus did nothing wrong. I like it.
Magnus did everything wrong. He deserved what he got. He deserved what he got. He's got his sons killed. Oh yeah, and I think we can all agree. Fuck Erebus, that asshole. He's like the universally hated character in Warhammer 40k. Everybody hates fucking Erebus. Even his own people hate him. So my favorite, Blood Angels, then Grey Knights. I'm a son of Sanguinius.
Blood Angels were like the early generic version of the Space Marines, but they've always been pretty cool. So
Mhm. Dark Angels, Dark Angels. I mean, the lion. He leads the first. You can't. I mean, there's enough said. Karn could have punched him. couldn't have punched him enough. True, true, true. So, but let's rewind a little bit before we started falling on the 40K um, rabbit hole. And by the way, anyone who's listening who's
Right.
never uh,
I have to go.
watched
I have to be a heretic really
or
quickly. Necrons.
yeah, I can respect that. I can respect Necrons. I got like they're Trazyn the Infinite, my man, is a whole ass kleptomaniac who steals from everybody and has a great time doing it. And the Necrons are cool. They I'm gonna give them a little bit of a shit because they were a bunch of bitches. Granted, they were dying from cancer, but they kind of went a little overboard, a little overboard. But for those of you who never experienced the Warhammer 40K universe, highly fucking recommend it. But before we fall down that rabbit hole any further, so old man Garrus, you said chainmail, Men in Magic, D&D First Edition, Magic the Gathering, and Pong. So Men in Magic, I've never heard of. And have you heard of that one, Greg? Men in Magic?
Yes, I
I have
don't.
never heard of that one.
I think I looked at that at. I think I actually looked at some of that at GaryCon this past March. I looked at a lot. They had a huge selection of older games there, and yeah, I'm fortunate. Fortunately, I didn't have a lot of time, or I'd probably be very poor.
Thankfully, time was not on your side, and
Right.
your wallet is grateful for it.
Hey, Duelist, when you paint those, hit me up, man. Put some pictures up in the Discord.
Yeah,
That'd be awesome.
yeah, absolutely, man. We would love to see that. Frey Brand as well. So for those of you who don't know, Frey Brand is also, like I said, he's a huge Warhammer fan, but he also paints minis. He does a damn good job of it. So Frey, feel free, at some point, if you feel comfortable posting some of that stuff up in the Raz Discord, man. Let's see people see work. This is really good. We were just covering some of the new TTRPGs coming out, things like um, DAGGERHEART finally having a release date, which is going to be next year, sometime in the spring. The new Conan RPG coming out next month by Monolith Board Games. Um, the Luke Stratton releasing his newest Kickstarter, Pyroboric. I believe if Luke, don't kill me for this. I think it was what Down Below, I believe it was called, if I remember, or something along those lines. Um, so and it's already been funded. By the way, it's already been
way
funded.
overfunded. 2 minutes.
Yeah,
2 minutes it was funded.
2 minutes it was funded. It's sitting at over $400,000 right now. So again, Luke, congratulations on another successful Kickstarter, and hopefully it
down
continues
among
to
the dead, by the way.
Down among the dead. There we go. There was something down something.
Down below.
Down among the dead. Yeah. Look, you're going down. Okay, like you're heading down.
Absolutely.
So we're talking about that stuff. We're talking about the recent layoffs as well. Though we didn't want to dwell on that because no one wants to hear bad news. But we were talking about the recent layoffs from Activision Blizzard, which are unfortunate. But again, that silver lining to that, it releases great talent back into the industry to definitely get picked up by other projects and to continue showcasing their skills. Let's see.
Oh. There's
okay, that I didn't know. So Duelist Kind said apparently Nintendo is pulling the trigger to sue Pout World. I did not hear about that. Annapurna, or did you do that last week?
We did not.
Annapurna. That sounds familiar. Annapurna. Old man Garrus, you want to refresh my memory because for some reason that rings a bell and I can't place it. And yeah. Oh yes. Annapurna. For those of you guys who don't know, Stray was their game. One of their more recent released IPs, very well received. They are indie. Well, I don't think they're indie exactly. I'm trying to rack my brain now. for that information because I believe they're attached to a larger studio and I can't remember which one. But basically, from what I'm recalling, they the entire studio essentially walked out. Um,
Yeah, Perna Interactive. Yeah.
uh, yeah, the entire studio walked out. Um, oh, thank you for that, Duelist Kind. Let me pull up that information
W-
so
I,
we can discuss
so
that.
so
Where is it?
so so Garrus, we have we kind of got on a track for a while there with the update log where we really dove into the issues in the industry and um, kind of a negative path.
Yeah.
And we've we're trying to pull things back to the basics and really focus on games. What is actually the product that's coming out in the storytelling piece, and not so much on video games and TTRPGs. Actually story period, and not so much on. There's so much negative things going on in the industry, and we've covered that for quite a long time. And it really just, to be quite honest with you, it's all that information is out there. We'll be glad to share little bits of it here and there, but we're not going to do focused episodes on the shitty things that are happening in the gaming industry.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, there's unfortunately, uh, a lot of stuff has been happening in the gaming industry that folks have lost their jobs, studios have closed, and there are tons of people covering that stuff. And we'll touch on that. But yeah, like Greg said, we spent a little too much time focusing on that, and I'm gonna be completely honest. It felt like that's all we were talking about. Um, so we do, and again, definitely gonna touch on those things, but let's get back to talking about the good things about games because thankfully, thankfully there are more good
right.
happenings within the industry than there are bad.
It's too
Uh,
easy to get absorbed in that stuff and lose sight of why are you doing what you're doing. And that's we feel for the people that are affected by those things, but as creatives and content creators, our focus is on bringing new content and developing new and better content for people, for our audience, for whoever wants it. um, and that's not, it really got to a point where that wasn't the story we were telling. It was, we were too focused in that negative, because there's plenty to talk about, but we were just way too focused in that. So yeah.
yep. So, but yeah, so it looks like, let's see, based on what Duelist Khan posted in our Discord channel. By the way, if you aren't a part of our community, uh, the link to that is in the chat. Feel free to join. You can check these out. But yeah, it looks like Nintendo filed an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Power World, a game developed and released by the defendant, which is Pocket Pair Incorporated, infringes on multiple patent rights. They filed this today, 2024, so September 18th, 2024. And they says here they will continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it is required to establish over the years. So Nintendo has officially taken action. And here's the thing, though. We did cover this when Power World came out, and there is Nintendo has some legs to stand on with this one. And again, not to get too negative or jump down that rabbit hole. First of all, neither Greg nor I are lawyers, so there's a lot that's going to go into that it's going to go over my head. But they do have some grounds there. If you look at some of the pals, I guess they're called, they do look fairly close to Pokemon. Um, I'm surprised it took them this long. I mean, Pal World's been out for, I want to say, over a year. No, no, it is coming up on a year. Okay, so it's not quite a year. January 19th, 2025 will hit a year. Pal World's been out. So not quite a year, but yeah, it's been out for quite a while, and it seems, I guess it seems Nintendo was holding on to this, maybe doing their due diligence to make sure that they had a case and they've gone forward with it. Well, I that's tough, man,
Well,
because Nintendo, for
probably
those of you who
it probably mean I would guess that they probably issued the cease and desist quite a while ago, and it didn't happen.
ah,
So that's
gotcha.
that's where we're at now, because that would be the first step, is to issue a cease and desist order. That's
Mm,
your warning shot, basically. And if the person doesn't at that point, because you've legally given them notice at that point, and if they don't cease and desist, then you file your lawsuit against them.
yeah,
So
yeah, you typically file with the lawsuit. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha. Okay, well, I mean, I wish Pocket Pair good luck because Nintendo is notorious for not pulling their punches when it comes to that kind of thing. They are very, very protective of their IPs, and you know what? I can't necessarily blame them. If I was in their position, I would be too. Hopefully, them and Pocket Bear can hash some things out where we don't lose Power World. Because from what I've heard, people have had a ton of fun and continue to have a ton of fun with the game. And obviously, Nintendo is Nintendo. They give us things like Zelda and Mario and all that jazz. So, granted, I don't think that they're not going anywhere. They're actually, for those of you who don't know, Nintendo is the first official game studio ever created.
game company, yeah,
First, yeah, game company rather. Yeah, yeah,
yeah,
they're the original
they are the oldest.
OG. Yeah. So, I mean, Duelist Kind, thank you for posting. I had not heard of that. Chances are I probably would have heard about it tomorrow. Um, so yeah, Outer Wilds. That was put out by Aperna. That great game. I haven't played it personally, but I've seen some Let's Plays on it. Absolutely fantastic game. It is a shame that that situation went the way it did. If Old Man Garrus, Duelist Kind, if you guys want to kind of shed some light on to what that situation is, feel free to drop that information either in the chat or in the Discord. I will admit to drawing a blank on that. I'd heard about it. I didn't dig too deeply into it um, just yet, but from what I've remembered, is an unfortunate situation all around for that studio. And correct me if I'm wrong. It is a full studio closure, right? Because from what I remember reading, everybody walked out. Um,
24 of their interactive staffers resigned. So
oh, okay. So they were. So it's not a full studio, but I mean, 24. That's a
right,
significant number
but
for a
definitely,
smaller studio.
right. It
Um,
definitely sounds like it's so actually. Hold on a second. Let's check
yeah,
this
and from
quick.
Duelist Kind said basically, from their understanding, there was talks of for a Perna splitting from the parent company that pretty much fell through, and it didn't go the way that they wanted to. So it seems like a bunch of folks said, you know what, I'm done. Well, you know that's a rough one there.
So
Um,
Annapurna, as of 5 days ago, Annapurna is still active as a
Still
division.
on.
Yeah.
Okay. So it wasn't a full studio closure. So I amend that statement from earlier, but a significant number of their development team, and I'm sure from other uh, areas of that particular team left. Well, again, I wish them all the best, man. Okay, so they were a movie studio first. That I didn't know. Huh. I wonder what movies they've worked on. I'm sure I've probably seen some of them. Well, yeah, I mean, thanks for that, Duos Con. Definitely gonna keep an ear out for that, and how that situation develops, because that's a big deal. And yeah, Stray, again, not a game I've played personally. It's really not my kind of game, but I have seen some let's plays, and it's a beautiful game. Very very thematic, very immersive. The cinematography, the audio, the setting, they
Right.
did really really good job with that one. Um, so I mean, hell, I hope they continue to make games, because that was a very very good game, and it was very critically acclaimed and well received by the community. Um, uh, they did Sausage Party. That they did that movie. For those of you who don't know, Sausage Party is definitely not a kids movie. But it is kind of funny. It was a funny, kind of turn your brain off kind of movie. That's okay. So yeah, I have seen some pretty good, pretty solid animation all around. Um, Also, I don't know if they worked on the writing or anything like that, but it was pretty funny. Again, it's not something that you take serious. It's a turn your brain off for some good laughs. Um, cool. So a couple of other things. The Moria campaign, and again, this is released by Free League Press, and it is in an addition to an expansion piece to the One Ring setting that Free League Press created. Um, it's caught fire, man. It is. I have not. Again, we haven't played it yet. We do have access to it. We haven't played it yet. There's a large catalog of Free League games that we're working on getting through. The next one, for those of you who have not been here and haven't heard, we are going to be putting together a Symbarom game hosted by yours truly, um, in the coming weeks. So keep an ear out and an eye out for that. Trust me, as we get through the next couple of days and weeks, like I said, we'll be announcing around. Um,
Yeah, some
doing
round will be
yeah
coming very soon. It's not
yeah
going to be a streamed game. It's going to go straight to video only. So not sure what we're going to do next as far as streaming on the channel goes, but for now we're taking a break from streaming games and sticking
mm,
mainly to the update log and some guest content that
yeah yeah. Speaking of guest content, you want to drop
well,
that?
yeah, Monday
Huh?
we're going to have a set down. Well, actually, we have a previous guest that's going to come back on,
Mm,
um, talk a little bit about what he's got going on, as well as the community that he's part of on Twitch, and that's the Greyhawk Creatives. So Lord Gisumba will be joining us Monday. Other piece to it is I'm also going to be at GaryCon 2025 with him. So not directly with him, but we'll both be there running
yeah,
games.
both are there.
So I kind
Hopefully,
of
I will be able to attend this one.
hopefully,
Didn't manage to attend the last one, but hopefully, my plan is to be there. It is still tentative. Again, kind of real life sometimes has the final say. But yeah, Greg is going to be there running chapters. Which is it? 5 through what?
chapter two,
5 through.
sessions 5 through 8.
There we go. Chapters. I knew it was 5 through 8, but chapter 2, 5 through 8 of a game that we worked on, um, or rather, a story that we worked on for last GaryCon, which was Beyond the Wall,
Oh, sorry
which
about that,
is.
Duelist.
Oh,
Ad
okay.
break.
So what did you miss? What did you miss, Duelist Con? What was the last thing you heard? We don't want you to miss any of the stuff. We're trying to get better about that, guys, of kind of pausing
You
when
know,
the ads come up so you don't
the
miss anything. But
Yeah, the ads are. I mean, anybody who streams on Twitch knows what that's all
gotta
about.
have
It's
them.
it's not
Yeah,
something that we. Yeah, I mean, it's there.
yeah. It's not something we
It's
can control.
right. Only way to do that is to give up your affiliate status, basically. Um,
Yeah. Oh, okay.
and
So running the new game. Yeah. In in the month of October and moving forward, we will be running a Simbrom game. We're not going to be running it. Greg, I'm pretty sure you already said this, but we're not going to be running it live. Um, we're
Correct.
going to be kind of switching up the format a little bit, polishing up the presentation a bit, and you
We
know,
I I don't know.
but
Maybe we do. I mean, I've been thinking maybe we do some reveal streaming and talk about the system and kind of go through that
yeah,
piece. You know what I mean?
we
Not
could.
not
Yeah, that's
right. Not a live
good.
game, but like we can put together a little reveal content and really just talk through the Simbarom system. So
Yeah, Simbrom it's a fantastic system. For again, Free League Press has come out with a number of different games over the years that have been really good. Their design team is really fantastic folks. We've had a number of them on. Um, so you do go check out our catalog there. Uh, and Simbrom is definitely one of those games. If you like The Witcher, like the universe, you'll definitely love Simbrom. Definitely dark, definitely sword sorcery, super fun. Check it out. But yeah, we will be running a game. I will be the DM, so Greg can finally be a player, and not have to DM all the time. But yeah, I'll be doing that, and you guys will get to hear a new dark, kind of gritty story from me. And like Greg said, we will be sitting down with Lord Gasama this coming Monday to discuss what he's been working on, and in particular, leading into GaryCon 2025. So yeah, that's going to be working on. What else? What else do we have to
So yeah,
discuss?
in the run up to GaryCon 2025, we're definitely going to be focusing more on content creators, well, writers, artists,
Mm,
um, in getting more folks on the channel for interviews. Like we've had,
yep.
Thomas Herenstam, Matthias, we've had Cody Pondsmith in the past. We're really going to focus in that area of getting those creatives on here and kind
Mm,
of throwing that net a little bit wide because we want to pull folks not just from the TTRPG side of this, and not even only print, but we want to pull a little bit more from the video game side as well. Um,
yes,
and how many of you like Red Sonja?
I love Red Sonja.
Okay.
Um, Bridget Nielsen, she played in that one. Did a fantastic job of it too. So
Mhm.
yeah, no, that's a why is there something happening with Red Sonja? Wait, is there? I
Maybe.
think there's a game coming out with her character in it. I mean, not Bridget Nielsen specifically, but the character of Red Sonja in it.
Right?
Hmm.
Maybe. Maybe. Never know.
Now I'm trying to remember. I have to look. I'm gonna do a little bit of digging because I remember hearing something about that. You sparked a recollection there, Greg. What else? Uh,
Who
yeah,
knows?
I think
I
that's.
we do have some more. I mean, we still have to finish the book review for Wheel of Time. I don't intend to drop that one. We just haven't.
Yes, we do.
We're
We just
we're
haven't
not
had.
consistent with that.
Yeah, we just
um,
haven't had. We haven't had time to really sit down and read because for those of you who don't know, Robert Jordan writes a lot, or wrote a lot, I should say. Rest in peace, Robert Jordan. Um, his books are long. They can be
well,
a little
we've
much to
we've
get.
we've done books 1 through 5 so far. So,
Yes, 1 through 5.
but yeah, more to come.
Um, yeah, but that is it for episode 68 of the update log. Again, tune in on Monday as we have a special episode sitting down with Lord Gasumba. If you aren't, please follow us on our social medias, chats, links in the chat, excuse me, especially our Discord. That way you can keep up to date with us, with the folks in our Discord, join the community, share the things that inspire you and that you enjoy within the gaming communities, whether it's tabletop, whether it's video games, anything in between, things that you're working on. If you're a creator, or whether even if you're a hobbyist, whether you just paint minis, come join our community, come join our Discord, and show it off. We'd love to see it. But with that, yeah, that's episode 68 of the update log. I'm Rob, your host, and this is Greg, my co-host. Thanks for joining us. And I think Greg is looking for a raid.
Yeah, I am, as a matter of fact.
He's getting better, guys. He's getting better. We didn't have to wait all the way till the end there. So great. But
we're gonna go visit these guys.
Yeah, thanks guys for tuning in. Thanks for kind of sharing what y'all know. We'll see you guys next Wednesday. Well, excuse me, no, we'll see you Monday for our special episode with Lord Gasumba.
Actually, you know what?
And then the Wednesday after that for our regularly scheduled program for episode 69. Thanks for tuning in, Frey and Infinity Core, Duelist Kind. Really, guys, thanks for coming in. Infinity Core, yeah, we're working on getting him trained. He's still got some work to do. Still got some work.
Yeah, at least he didn't say anything about teaching old dogs new tricks. All right, we're gonna raid into Foxy Project tonight. She actually is a fellow streamer out there. She does 7 Days to Die streams, so she's a game streamer.
Nice.
She is also going to be playing at my table at GaryCon 2025. So
nice.
If you're going to be there, you might get an opportunity to play a game with her. So, and
sweet.
We will. Yeah, I need more training, by the way.
All right, man. A little slowly but surely.
Not the raid master. I'm sorry. I think once I hit the 100 mark, I don't know. I don't know if I'm even gonna raid it anymore. Thank you, Frey. All right, there's positive feedback. You see how that's done? Perfect.
Yep. Positive feedback. That's right.
All right. Thank you, guys. Everybody have a good night.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you.